Well, I'll just show you again one more time. So what I do, so I'm rubbing this thing around. I had some water bubble, I had to press it, and not water, but air bubble, I had to press it. So keep rubbing it like that. And along the edges, like, see how I'm doing like this. I'm not rolling, I'm not throwing, I'm not doing anything. I'm just rubbing. And sander helps to save you some time. But this helps you save you some time. You know, I was thinking maybe for the beginners it makes sense to use thick wool, different color from thin wool, because you know what will happen, what start happening, that heavy wool will start coming out here, and because I use the same color, I cannot show you here, and we don't see it now. I mean, I know it's happening, and I see it very closely, but if I had, for example, lighter wool on the top and darker wool in the bottom, inside, like this thick one. For example, brown will be all, thick wool will be brown and blue will be on top. Actually, you can have an interesting effect, kind of a melange, whatever. And it will be easier for you to see when this felt is ready to start going down to shrinking. So it's not ready. It's not a felt yet. It's pre-felt, let's call it. But it's at least here what's happening. When I try to pull the hair, you see nothing is coming out. This upper level is definitely already like bonded and turned into like a piece of, turning into like one solid piece of like felt. So problem is still with the inside level. We can't check it right now. But this is why we're still taking a little bit of time and using our sander, or our roller puller, and I'm using my hands. Now, even when I touch it, I can see that the layer of wool started separating from that plastic piece, from the template. So now I can do that. I can just manipulate it this way a little bit. You know, if I'm not afraid, because at least I know that the upper level is all connected. And this is what we do. And my next step will be, I will start rolling this thing. Have too much water here. I want to take my and get rid of that water. Okay. You can see it's like a puddle. I don't want any puddle here. So I can take my wet towel. Let me see if it's a good size. No, probably this bigger towel looks better here. I'll squeeze the water out too. And maybe I'll roll it for a little bit. I'll put it on the towel. I kind of have a feeling now that it's all one piece. I'm just to be sure, I'm still trying to manipulate it a little bit better. Now, let me see. This is my method. I will roll it like, I don't know, 50, 60 times this way, and I'll show you another direction. So this is why I decided to go with this method of 2 layers. Don't mix 2 layers of different wool, but 2 layers of felt. For this little pouch, I didn't really have to worry much. But let's say I'm working on slippers, which is a wonderful thing to make, a wonderful thing to own. You can make for your children, for yourself. It's natural, it's cozy. You can put it on a sole, or you can just use it like a socks, run it weight around. You can see how everything starts shrinking a little and the template becoming too small for us. Now, first of all, it's already lots of work to put that amount of wool and make it that thickness. So when I'm thinking about shoes or slippers or anything, even something I want to be thicker, man, it's a sweat, you know, just sit and roll and pull like that heavy thick of wool, amount of wool, and press it together and turn it like one thick thing. So I just decided that if I press 2 layers and then like fold them inside out, this is what we'll be doing. We'll be folding it inside out. Inside. You have the same amount of wool. It keeps your feet warm. Or like if we're talking about anything else, purse, durable, or like object or whatever you want to do, but you don't have to work so hard. So now see, it starts shrinking. So what I'm now going to do, this is my manipulation I like to do. Both directions. A little bit like that. Not overdo it. The problem is you have to felt evenly, otherwise one part will be shrinking more than another, and this is tricky. Here, because it's very narrow, I can't roll it really nicely this way. You know, I mean, maybe I can. Let's try just a little bit. Maybe I can put something inside, like some little rod. Also, when I'm talking about felting your own slippers, for example, now they say that it's not how much wool, or it's not how thick the material is. It's about all that layers. Now it's kind of a thing. First layer, second layer when you get dressed in winter for sports, right? So same idea. I have 2 layers of felt and there is a little bit of air in between, which also keeps your feet warm. Talking about slippers. But before we go there, I'm thinking to make a good like webinar or class, because I'm a big advocate of natural fibers and DIY. Nobody can cook for myself better than myself. And are you being lazy sometimes? And of course, a lot of carry-outs, but homemade food is the best. Okay, now you can see that this is getting pretty solid, right? This is solid. It's not ready. I need to shrink it, but I already can see how I can just play with it like that. Nobody's going anywhere. So I'm just alternating right now, rubbing, pulling it a little bit. Not too much, not too much. I'm making these birdhouses. They can stay through the whole winter and keep the shape outside. And just because it pressed really nicely. every hair finds a hair has scales, and the scales attach to each other, and this edges usually it's a little bit harder. Yeah, I'll show you later how this is a really fast thing to, well, you have to roll it like that between your hands, but it has to be washed and the template has to go out. So let me show you how to take the template out, because it gets too small and it's okay, it's time to. And after that, believe it or not, I'm going to use my washer. I will manipulate it a little bit, but then I just threw it in the washer on the regular cycle, maybe with a bunch of towels or something. Not too hot, not too cold. I mean, can be cold, of course, like any wool. And I'll show you next time. I'll see you when I take it out of the washer and I show you how it looks like, and I will dry it and a little bit. But when it's still a little bit wet, I want to keep it in a nice form. See how this area felt better than the edges, so we will have to work on the edges like that. But first let's take the thing out. Okay, I will fold it in two, okay? I'll fold it in two, so this way I find the center. And I will have to install this thing here like that. See how now it's still pretty big. So it should just shrink this way. So install this thing, it will be easier. We'll make a little cut. From this little cut, little hole, we'll take the template out. And when it's all fixed up and dry and stuff, this thing is bending pretty nicely. So I just will go like that and through this and close it here, and it's a little nail which comes with it. And it will be done. You don't have to do it, of course, I mean, it's up to you, but I kind of like that thing. So now I have to find the center. So here's my center point. And I take my good scissors, and here's a trick. Here's a trick. So I have to cut it not that way, but that way, along the fold. That way I have to cut it, okay? So let me cut it. If you want to keep your template for your next project, just be careful, don't cut your template. But of course, sometimes it happens. Should not be a big hole. Should not be a big hole. Any hole you will create will expand into the big one. So you have to be careful. Don't pull into it or something. I'm showing you, this is just that small. The smaller the better. Now I have to take gloves because it's a delicate job. It's like a surgery I'm making here. So what I have to do, I just have to pull this thing out. Don't pull on the felt. Try to do your best. It's hard at the beginning, because I tried it a few times. Just try to put your fingers through. If your hands are too big, of course you can make a little bit bigger hole, or you can ask somebody with smaller hands. So as soon as it comes like that, see, it just comes really easily. That's it. That's it. So the hole, of course, got bigger. If you mess out of it's too big, you know, let this thing dry a little bit, and take your needle. Take a needle and sew it back a little. But you will need it later to put the thing into. So it would be nice to have that hole bigger because you can rub this thing and check how inside looks like. But you know what? We don't really need it. You can walk on the edge a little bit. Just make it, just play with it. Just rub it like that so this extra hair doesn't show off. Okay, what you wanna be sure. I mean, it's hard to say, of course. I mean, maybe it's good to take a lamp. I have a table lamp. And look inside and see what's going on there. Just for me, I'll tell you, I don't see that this inside layer is the hair comes out like easily. They're doing pretty well there. They're all doing pretty well. Now, let's open this thing like that. Let's open it like that. Remember, we have that seam. So let's just be sure that everything is bonded there, because it was hard to walk with that seam when it was folded that way. And we want to be sure that it's all not falling apart for us. Now I can guarantee that the thick wool already out here, so everything is bound pretty nicely. So you go along the way and you walk on your seam like that, right? And I mean, do whatever you want. Just be sure. This is what I'm doing with this. I'm just rubbing this area. Just to be sure, you know. I know it's there. I know that everything is bound together nicely. Wait a minute, here. This way I'm opening, right? Just to be sure. So are you looking right now and thinking, how is it coming to, how is going to be a pouch? Because right now it looks like a bag of whatever it will be. So now see how it's all pretty solid. I don't worry about it. I'm working hard on this thing, see? I don't worry that this thing is going anywhere. I can throw it a little bit. 30 times, 40 times. I can get back to my towel. By the way, you don't have to use washing machine. You can finish it by hands, just doing this manipulation over and over. By the way, I'm going to roll it on the towel this way. I'm not going to fold it back because I just want to be sure that but it's solid. This way, little bit this way. You can see how in the middle, it's always felt a little bit better. Turning from this end. Okay, now I'll take that part because it seems like it's a little bit wider this edge. And I just do it like that. Don't go crazy. Don't pull like all this wool because so this way, turn around this way, all directions, all directions you can come up with. inside, outside. Think about the hair want to do that move. So, and then they just get into each other better. I'll tell you, I have this trick. I do that. Just squeeze this water a little and just rub it between my hands. This thing felts everything so hard. Yes, there is a risk that you overfelt it and make it smaller than you need. It's not a problem. You can always put some hot water and stretch it. But of course it depends how bad you messed it up. Okay, now if you look, now we even can go back to the same thing. Now the middle can be stretched a little bit to even it. Okay, now, you know what? I'm going to tell you that this is a very solid piece of Profelt. I call it Profelt because it's still Profelt. It's not the size I need, right? So I still have way to go. I still have way to go. So I can sit here and manipulate it for another 30 minutes, and believe it or not, I'll get there. Well, like I said, I can throw it in the washer. Now, I'll throw it in the washer. You can see how the surface is becoming very uneven. See how instead of having like little bubbles, ruffles, I don't know. It tells me that it's all started shrinking together. Well, after it comes from the washer, it will be still like that. Okay, I'll show you when it's done. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this brown part inside, right, like that, and it will be our pouch. And we will think about how to, I'll show you how to maybe install this thing in my next video. But right now I'm taking a break and I'm throwing this piece in the, even like throwing it like that, eventually you can get to this size. But I'm just getting tired. So I will see you in my next video, and I think it will be good to go.